Hi, welcome back, folks. As always, I'm your host, Mr. Update. Now, let's get to the show. Imagine for a moment two old friends sitting down for lunch in a cozy little cafe. One of them has just inherited a couple of bags full of diamonds from his grandmother, sparkling gems that could fetch a fortune. The other friend shows up with nothing more exotic than a few bottles of water. Over sandwiches, the water guy leans in and says, "Hey, how about a trade, Isha? I'll give you half my watch for half your diamonds." The diamond owner laughs it off. Why on earth would he swap rare, valuable jewels for something as commonplace as water? He could buy a bottle for $1 at any corner store. Water's everywhere. Diamonds are special. Now, fast forward to a completely different scene. These same two friends are out on a hike in the desert, but things go terribly wrong. They get lost, wander for days under the scorching sun, with no food, no shelter, and worst of all, no water. Their throats are parched, their lips cracked, and survival is hanging by a thread. Suddenly, those bags of diamonds don't seem so appealing. The diamond guy turns to his friend, desperate, and begs for that trade. Half the diamonds for half the water. But now the water owner hesitates. In this moment, water isn't just abundant, it's the scarcest thing in the world. The difference between life and death. The diamonds? Pretty rocks that can't quench thirst. This little thought experiment flips everything on its head, doesn't it? It shows us that value isn't some fixed quality baked into an object. It's not about how shiny or rare something seems in isolation. No, value comes from scarcity relative to what people need or want right then and there. When something's plentiful, even if it's essential like water, its worth plummets. But make it scarce, and suddenly even the most luxurious items fade in comparison. Think about it in your own life. How often do we take for granted the things we have in abundance, only to realize their true importance when they're hard to come by? This principle extends far beyond water and diamonds. It applies to resources we encounter every day. Clean air, fertile soil, even time itself. In places where clean air is everywhere, we barely notice it. But in a polluted city or a stuffy room, it becomes priceless. The same goes for land that's good for growing food. Abundant in some regions, fought over in others. Understanding this scarcity dynamic isn't just an academic exercise. It's a practical tool for making sense of the world. It helps explain why certain environmental challenges hit harder in some places than others, and how human ingenuity often steps in when scarcity bites the hardest. When needs press up against limits, that's when people get creative, finding ways to stretch resources or invent alternatives. Now let's zoom out a bit and think about how this plays into the bigger picture of human progress. For most of history, life was a tough slog for the average person. Picture your ancestors, maybe not too many generations back, working as subsistence farmers or serfs tied to the land, scraping by with whatever the seasons provided. Life expectancy hovered around 40 years, if you were lucky. Children died young from diseases we barely think about today, and daily existence was all about survival. Planting, harvesting, hoping for enough to eat. It wasn't glamorous. It was grinding, uncertain work. But then something shifted roughly 2 centuries ago. Ordinary folks started to experience a kind of prosperity that would have seemed like a fairy tale to their grandparents. People began affording homes, better food, medical care that actually worked. Lifespans stretched out to 80 years or more. So what sparked this transformation? It wasn't some grand decree from on high or a magical discovery. It was the quiet establishment of secure private property rights, coupled with the freedom to trade openly. When people could own what they produced without fear of it being seized or disrupted, they poured their energy into creating more. They innovated, took risks, and exchanged goods with confidence. This setup unleashed a wave of human potential that rippled through societies. Prices, those everyday numbers we see on shelves, became signals of scarcity, telling producers where demand was high and resources were tight. It guided them to focus efforts efficiently, meeting needs without waste. The outcome? Prosperity didn't stay locked up with kings and nobles. It spread to everyday workers, lifting boats across the board. Consider how trade itself evolved to make this possible. We often imagine early economies as pure barter systems, someone with extra eggs swapping them for a hunk of meat, but only if the other person happened to want eggs at that exact moment. That coincidence of wants problem could stall everything. In reality, humans got clever about it. All sorts of things emerged as informal currencies. Beads in some cultures, even ramen noodles in modern prisons. These stand-ins for value made exchanges smoother, allowing indirect trades that opened up endless possibilities. Money, in whatever form, isn't just paper or coins. It's a tool that turns isolated efforts into a web of interconnected opportunities, multiplying wealth in ways that benefit everyone involved. Let me paint a picture of how this works in action. Suppose there's a farmer out in the countryside who notices his roof is leaking. No hardware store nearby, so he decides to make his own nails. He digs up some iron ore, builds a fire to smelt it, shapes the metal. It's a grueling process that takes weeks, and at the end, he's got maybe a few hundred nails. Not bad for patching his roof, but he sees potential. What if he could do this better? Faster. He packs up and moves to a busy port city where trade is buzzing. There he refines his methods, maybe invests in better tools. Soon he's producing thousands of nails a week. Ships start carrying them to far-off places, and everyone along the chain profits. The sailors, the merchants, the buyers who now have affordable fasteners for their own projects. But he doesn't stop there. He hires folks who are out of work, sets up an assembly line. One person draws the wire, another cuts it, a third sharpens the points. Specialization kicks in, and output skyrockets to tens of thousands of nails. Prices drop because supply is up, quality improves through focused expertise, and suddenly consumers everywhere benefit from cheaper, better tools. The farmer, he's thriving, not just getting by. He's created jobs, sparked growth, and turned a simple need into a flourishing enterprise. This isn't some pie-in-the-sky theory. It's the essence of how free markets reward ingenuity. Entrepreneurs spot those high prices as signals, invitations to jump in and create cheaper, better ways to meet demand. Profits act as the incentive to take those risks, and when it pays off, society as a whole reaps the rewards through greater abundance. Even when competitors enter the fray, it pushes everyone to adapt, innovate, or step aside, driving progress forward. As this wealth builds up over time, something interesting happens. People's priorities start to shift. It's not just about survival anymore, it's about quality of life. In societies that have climbed out of poverty, folks begin demanding cleaner environments, healthier surroundings. Think back a few decades to some industrial cities. Descending into certain urban valleys meant entering a haze of smog that burned your eyes and choked your lungs. It wasn't sustainable, and people spoke up. Public pressure led to changes. Factories installed filters. Some relocated to less populated areas. Others reinvented their processes entirely. The air cleared, health improved, and lives got longer. We're seeing the same pattern play out today in emerging economies. Places that were once blanketed in industrial smog are starting to turn the corner as incomes rise. Citizens, now with a bit more security and resources, push for breathable air, clean water, and greener spaces. It's fascinating how prosperity often leads to better environmental stewardship. Markets, in their way, align individual interests with the broader good. People making informed choices, driven by what they value most. It reminds us that human flourishing and the health of our natural world can advance together hand in hand when we let ingenuity and freedom do their work. Let's circle back to that desert scenario for a second. In the moment of dire scarcity, water's value skyrockets because it's tied directly to survival. But in a broader sense, markets help us avoid those extremes by anticipating needs and scaling up supply. Take clean water in our daily lives. Most of us turn on the tap without a second thought, thanks to systems built on innovation and trade. Yet in regions where it's scarce, entrepreneurs and communities step in, developing filtration tech, desalination plants, or efficient distribution networks. Scarcity drives the solutions, and the freedom to pursue them ensures they spread. This ties into innovation on a grand scale. Remember the nail maker? His story is a microcosm of how specialization and trade create abundance. One person focusing on wire drawing does it better than someone juggling every step. Multiply that across industries, farming, manufacturing, tech, and you get the modern world where goods that were once luxuries are now everyday staples. It's why your smartphone, packed with materials from around the globe, costs less than a month's groceries for many people. And here's where curiosity comes in. Have you ever wondered why some places lag behind in this progress? Often, it's not a lack of resources or talent, but barriers to that free exchange, unstable property rights, heavy regulations that stifle innovation, or systems that don't let prices signal scarcity accurately. When those are in place, potential gets bottled up, but remove them and watch the creativity flow. Environmental progress follows a similar path. As societies grow wealthier, they invest in technologies that reduce waste and pollution. Electric cars, renewable energy sources, efficient recycling, these aren't born from scarcity alone, but from the demand that scarcity creates, met by innovators who see opportunity. It's a cycle. Prosperity enables us to care more about the long term, preserving the beauty around us for generations to come. Think about air quality again. In the past, coal-fired plants belched smoke without much thought because survival took precedence. But as wealth accumulated, people could afford to say, we want to be better. Regulations followed public demand, but so did market-driven solutions, cleaner fuels, better engines, even urban planning that incorporates green spaces. Today in many cities, you can breathe easier, literally because of this interplay. Water scarcity offers another lens. In arid regions, innovations like drip irrigation or atmospheric water generators are turning deserts into productive land. These aren't government mandates. They're responses to real needs, funded by profits from efficient production. It's a testament to how human ingenuity, when unleashed, can harmonize with the natural world. Shifting gears slightly, let's consider money's role in all this. Beyond solving the barter problem, money stores value over time, letting people save for big ideas or rainy days. It facilitates investment. Someone with extra capital can fund the nail factory, sharing in the profits while enabling growth. This creates a virtuous loop. More production, more to us, more wealth to reinvest. In everyday terms, this means the choices you make as a consumer ripple out. Buying from a company that's innovating sustainably encourages more of that behavior. It's not about grand gestures. It's the accumulation of small, informed decisions that shape markets. As we wrap up these thoughts, it's worth reflecting on how far we've come. From subsistence to abundance, from short lives to long ones filled with possibilities. Scarcity will always be part of the human condition. It's what makes value meaningful. But the systems we've built to navigate it have transformed our world. They reward responsibility, encourage curiosity, and open doors to a deeper appreciation of life's intricacies. Well, folks, that's it. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed the show, please remember to like and subscribe. I hope to see you next time.